Such a historic visit?
Well, historic is the right word here. Masrour Barzani is the prime minister of the Iraqi Kurds. Historically, he's had a really good relationship with Turkey, and there's common security concerns by both Barzani, the Kurdish regional government of northern Iraq, and of Turkey. Specifically here, when it comes to the PKK. The PKK has historically been politically against the Barzanis and against the KRG. That's a long-standing historical conflict between those two Kurdish factions. And here we heard Prime Minister Barzani specifically talking about Shingar, the Shingar region right on the border between northern Iraq and the Kurdish regional area. Why is this so important? This is an area where Daesh slaughtered thousands of Yazidis, captured thousands more, enslaved them, and now the Yazidis in this area are trying to rebuild, but the PKK has established a presence there. The Turkish Air Force has hit the PKK on a number of occasions in that area. The Kurds want the PKK out. The Yazidis want the PKK out. In fact, interestingly enough, Nadia Murad, who was one of the Yazidi survivors of Daesh enslavement and the Daesh genocide against the Yazidis, has raised this issue on a number of occasions, has actually also raised it when she was in Washington and when she personally met with President Trump. So now we're hearing this issue raised again in Ankara. The Kurdish leader talking to the foreign minister of Turkey, saying they have common interests, common concerns, that they will support Turkey's fight against terrorism, and specifically calling upon the PKK and the PKK proxy group that they've established in Sinjar to leave so that the Yazidis and the Kurds and the Iraqi people can rebuild once more now that Daesh has been defeated in that area, in that part of Iraq.
Turkey recently took issue with NATO failing to recognize the threat that Turkey faces from the YPG and PKK along the southern border. So why is this such an important issue for NATO?
A very important issue for NATO and for Turkey writ large. We heard the Turkish Foreign Minister raise this issue in his meetings with Barzani. Now with the NATO Leaders Summit in London coming up in just a few short days, Turkey has said that in order for it to sign off on NATO's defense plan for the Baltic states and for Poland, it first wants NATO to reciprocate and to recognize Turkey's fight against the YPG and against the PKK. Of course, the Baltic states and Poland, since Russia's illegal annexation of Crimea in 2014, have been very concerned about a potential Russian incursion. And so we've seen the United States, the UK, and other European countries deploy some of their forces in the Baltic states and in Poland. And now they're going to host a major exercise early next year to defend the Suwalki Gap against a feared Russian incursion. NATO is saying in order for it to become part of the unanimous NATO member state support for that defense plan, it wants to see NATO also supporting with equal vigor a defense plan for NATO's southern flank, which is Turkey and its fight against terror.
Okay. Oubai Shahbandar, thank you.